Right. Try that again, Saga. Welcome back to LTF1. As always, if you're watching this but you've not subscribed, then hit the subscribe button. It's in the corner on that side, maybe that side. It's literally that easy. You don't need to pause the video. You don't even need to go anywhere. It'll let you do it in the video. Alternatively, if you want to check the channel out, then you can hit the information thing and you can go to the channel, but do that after the video. If you've been around for a while and you've still not subscribed, then why are you doing that for? That's mean. But yeah, moving on. We're going to be talking about Ferrari today and how do they win even when they're losing. And what I mean by this is anyone following F1 will know that over the past decade or so, they've really not had a good time of it. Be it Red Bull or Mercedes, there's always been a team that's just been able to edge them out. And with the whole engine fiasco of 2019 and the FIA clamping down on them in this agreement that nobody knows about, it's just got from bad to worse. They've gone from just about being able to challenge to fighting out in the upper midfield. So then how can I say that they're still winning? Well, it's actually pretty simple. And to know about this, we have to consider what F1 really is. If we head over to Google, then it will tell you it's the highest class of international auto racing for a single-seater Formula racing car that is sanctioned by the FIA. We know that. It's the pinnacle of motorsport. But it's not just a sport, and those that follow it closely know that it's much more than that. F1 started out as, and is still accused of being, a billionaire's boys' club, rather than a true sporting endeavor. And really, the F1 that we know today and that we're all familiar with didn't start until cameras turned up at the racetrack. It didn't start until the world feed, and it didn't start until F1 was in the houses of people around the world as they tuned in to watch elite drivers battle it out in sponsored machinery. And that's the key point. That's the key point. Sponsors. Everyone knows, and everyone ignores the fact that right alongside the sporting endeavors and the engineering and the technological challenge, F1 is essentially a very costly and very expensive marketing scheme. Every team on the grid has an associated sponsor, and every team on the grid is trying to sell you something, be it a car, oil, petrol, luxury watches. They are all trying to sell you something, or they were trying to sell somebody something. I don't know who buys the luxury watches after watching F1 because I can't even afford a team hoodie. And Ferrari have ridden that wave to build their brand. They were dominant in the early 2000s. They were dominant before that. They are the most dominant team in F1 history. They've won the most. They are at the top of the sport, even when they're not. And they've built their car brand off that. A Ferrari is maybe not the fastest of supercars, but it is the pinnacle of supercars too. They are the brand that has the heritage. They have the background, and that all comes from Formula racing. That comes from their sporting endeavors. And so, having said all this, surely now that they're struggling, the car brand should be affected as well. But it doesn't. The car brand is not reflected badly on because they've built that much good faith over the years that everybody knows a Ferrari is a Ferrari, whether they're winning championships in Formula One or whether they're fighting with McLaren in Formula One. In this day and age, all Ferrari needs is screen time. And I'd argue that battling out with the McLarens and the Red Bulls in the upper midfield, they're getting a lot more screen time than they would be if they were 30 seconds clear out the front. Because how many times did you see Max last weekend? And to top it all off, if you look at the podium, we've got a new champagne sponsor, Ferrari. So even when they're not on the podium, they are. They're there at every turn, and they always will be. Which makes it... And so that is how Ferrari wins, even when they're losing. Now, of course, they'll get back to winning ways. It's Ferrari. But for now, F1's doing what F1 needs to do for them. They're developing new technologies, and they are the only car that a normal person or a casual fan will recognize. They'll tune in, they'll see the red car, and they'll know Ferrari. Just something to think about. That's all for today. We'll have more stuff coming for you soon. We've got a few what if videos coming for you soon too. The main thing is obviously subscribe and you won't miss a thing. But yeah, that's all we've got for you today. And Sagar, I'm sorry that it took 10 minutes in, and even then I was messing up. It wasn't a very good recording. You're gonna have to bang it work on the graphics.